Hi, so today's video is something a bit different to what I would usually post on here. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, is to do with insecurity. I basically just wanted to come on, talk about my insecurities personally, how I've been dealing with them, and kind of sort of give you an insight to how you can deal with them, as well as all the things that have sort of affected me and our culture, society, that sort of thing. Just have a general chat about insecurity really, and hopefully you can get something good out of it, or just at the least be entertained. It's something that's taken over my life quite a lot for my whole life, so I just wanted to do like a deep dive. But before we get into the video, just don't forget to subscribe to me just so you can see more upcoming future videos. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, leave me a comment down below on your thoughts and feelings on the video, or insecurity, how you've been dealing with it, how you're doing, anything like that. I just want to get straight into the video, so let's go. Okay, so my story. I was born with two parents, as everyone usually is. I actually have no recollection of my dad being around. I don't even remember as a child that he was there. My parents broke up when I was super young. Like, I don't remember anything, like I say. I don't even really know the full story as to why. Maybe it's a good thing that I don't know. I just know that I literally have no memories of my dad. Around the age of 5, my mum married my stepdad, who is amazing. I call him dad. He brought me up. He would really try and do everything for me, and he is not what I ever would have imagined a step-parent to be. He did a lot for me and still does a lot for me, and has really taken me on as his own. He even says he sees me as his daughter. Although he is amazing and did everything possible to be a father figure, I could still see that gap, especially when I was younger, between my friends' relationships with their dads and my relationship with my dad, aka my stepdad. Because obviously I didn't really have a relationship with my real dad, so from now on, if I refer to someone as dad, I'm talking about my stepdad, and if I refer to someone as my real dad, that's my birth dad, just because that's what I call my stepdad. I just call him dad. So yeah, I could see that our relationship was different from any other father-daughter relationship. When I was younger, I didn't actually think that I was upset by this at the time, but now when I look back, I really do feel jealous of those other people who had that proper father-daughter connection and the proper bonds with their dads. Though you don't realise at the time, it does shape you as a person. I think that I felt subconsciously, even though I didn't necessarily realise, I felt like I was thinking I was worth less than what I actually was, because I thought that no one seemed interested in making effort with me like my birth dad. And because he didn't really make an effort to make time for me or talk to me, spend time with me. And I know there's obviously a lot of things probably that he was going through as well, but at the end of the day, that's your child. That's just my opinion. He perhaps should have made more of an effort. But you know, my point here is it had an effect on my self-worth, whether I knew it then or not. As a child, you are always constantly growing and developing, and if something is missing in your life, then that is going to affect you as you grow up. Something I haven't told a lot of people is that one of my parents, and I'm not going to say which one, deals with some mental health issues. It isn't as bad now, I would say. They have had a lot of help and support and come a long way. But when I was a lot younger, there was a point where it was really bad, and I knew that it was really bad, even as a child. Perhaps not to the extent that now I can look back and realise, oh my god, that was really bad. But I still knew it was happening at the time. My parents would always try and shield it from me, and we would never ever have an open discussion about anything like that. And I understand perhaps they were trying to shield me from it and not expose me to that sort of thing. But again, as a child, it can affect your self-worth and your security in yourself, because although you have an idea of what's going on, you don't know the full picture, and you don't know, in the situation, are you safe? Are the people around you safe? Is there anything coming in to harm you? And secondly, when parents try and shut kids out, I know that people deal with things differently, but it kind of irritates me, because that kid is very smarter than what they let on. And obviously there's ways to tell them something, but they're not stupid, and shutting them out makes them think that they are stupid. or it made me feel like that my parents thought I was stupid and I didn't realise what was going on at all. And I didn't like that because it felt like people didn't have enough confidence in me to tell me something. They didn't think I would be able to deal with something emotionally. I do get, like I say, that it was probably coming from a good place, but I think that messed me up because not having someone to be open and talk about my feelings with was bad for me. Some of the issues that my parent has have come onto me now, and I'm not saying it's because of them. There's a lot of factors that of why I have some of these issues, but yeah, I think seeing something in your household, you start to think that it's normal. Like, especially now I've moved out and I live with my partner, I've realised that their household runs very different to how mine did. It wasn't a place where I felt safe to talk about feelings and emotions and where I'll be taken seriously. So my second parent, I'm kind of a little bit scared to label. I definitely I feel like they had some narcissistic traits, which brought me down, made me see myself as less than I was. And it was very difficult to live with, especially as a child, as I just thought I was always doing things wrong and I believed what I was being told. It actually wasn't until recently when I was in therapy that I realised that the narcissistic traits were there and a lot of things were not my fault, and it's kind of like a breakthrough moment for me. So besides my home environment, I was also obviously in school a lot. So my school seemed to have a hierarchy. If you weren't attractive as society sees you to be attractive, then you pretty much didn't have a chance of being popular, unless you had like a really loud personality or you rebelled. Maybe a lot of people didn't care if they were popular or not, and I kind of did not. I kind of didn't care. But at the same time, what I hated and can recognise now, looking back, is that every day I was literally just going to school and trying to blur into the background, stay under the radar, because I didn't want anyone to say anything to me, anything negative at all, even as a joke, or pick on me or make my experience bad, because my self-esteem was already low and I think it would have just driven me down way further. Before we move on to like the era that we grew up in and society and all that jazz, just want to touch on one more thing from my childhood because it sort of intertwines, and that is my weight. So I'd always felt I was bigger for my age. Like, I would label myself in my head as being fat because I couldn't fit into the clothes that people my age could fit into. I don't think I actually was overweight until I got to like year 9, year 10 at school, perhaps maybe even year 8, I don't know. So I would have been about between the ages of 12 to 15. I think I actually was generally overweight because when I went to secondary school, I would just binge eat my feelings and emotions. I would eat in private all the time, and it was just my way of dealing with things, but that's like a whole other topic. So talking about the way I look leads me on to how I grew up, because it's also had a big effect on how I thought about myself. When I say how I grew up, I mean like society and things that I saw. Growing up, I grew up in the 2000s. I was born 1996. I would do two things which at the time I didn't realise would affect my self-esteem, and I would do them a lot. So first, I'd be glued to music channels. I was literally obsessed. It was all I would do. We had Sky, so I'd listen to all the music channels, be flicking in between them pretty much every weekend morning. Anytime my parents weren't watching the TV or weren't around, because I liked to dance and sing to my music. If not, I would do that in the bedroom. But the aesthetic of girls at this time that were in like the limelight, as in music and celebrities and stuff, were like skinny. That was the aesthetic. Like, it was BBL girls recently, and probably still is in that era, but that time was skinny girls, and that I was just really not. And also, by the way, when I say skinny, I mean like skinny to the point where they were ill. Yeah, it was the same in magazines as well, glossy magazines. I remember every week I would get Cosmo Girl magazine. It was like a teen Cosmo, if you haven't heard of it. I would read stories about dieting, which is crazy because it's a teen magazine. Like, I feel like back then we would see these celebrities with makeup on, and like filters edited out, whatever you call it, in the magazines. But social media wasn't really around, so we weren't really aware of how much these people didn't actually look like that and how much they were like face tuned and blurred and blah blah blah. Because yeah, I mean, most people nowadays are blurred and edited on social media to make themselves look better, but we are aware of it. We know that it exists. So sometimes when I'm looking at someone and they look perfect, although sometimes my brain doesn't register, there are a lot of times now when I think actually they've probably edited their photo, made themselves look better, changed themselves, made themselves look smaller. That's like quite detrimental, especially, like I say, when I'm reading diet things as a child, which is in a teen magazine, so you think that you should be doing these things and acting a certain way. So now we are on to the third section of the video, which is how I'm dealing with my insecurities, how I've got to where I am now. One big thing I've been doing is embracing the skin I'm in, telling myself that at the end of the day I'm born into this body and this skin, and there's not really much I can do to change it. This is how I'm going to be. So there are definitely days when I'll wake up and I'll be insecure about something, and I won't like the way something looks, or I won't feel good. Most of the time I'm trying to tell myself that what I'm thinking is not true. I'll give myself some affirmations and try and make myself feel good about this thing that I am not liking. And although it doesn't work straight away, it does actually make you start to believe the things that you're saying. Sometimes it's difficult when you're going through something and you think, oh my god, I hate this about myself. It's difficult to think positive about it because you're just thinking the negative thoughts, and you've done it for so long probably that you don't even realise that you're doing it. Also, just to feed off of that as well, I now have a routine which makes me feel good about myself, and I do spend time doing activities which make me feel good about myself. So I used to eat a lot of junk food. My diet was really, really poor. And now I do actually eat fairly good. Like, yeah, life's too short to be miserable and just eat good, healthy, nutritious food all the time. But generally that's what I try and do, because when I eat the junk food and higher processed sugar foods, I feel bad about myself because I feel sluggish and tired and just generally bloated and awful. I don't feel good at all. And then I can't be productive. I can't do things that I want to do. Can't even do things that I enjoy. That's just one example of how I make myself feel better, is feeding myself the nutrition that I need. And secondly, I do go to the gym now. I do some gym classes. I go to the PT. But you don't even have to do that. Going on walks, just doing something that can clear your mind, because for me, although I enjoy exercise because I feel like I'm trying to build up and reach goals which I have myself, it also helps my mental health quite a lot and makes me feel very good about myself. Thank you so much for watching and taking the time to listen to this. I do hope that if you're struggling with anything, that you are okay. Always feel free to talk to me. I'm here. Leave a comment. Talk to friends, family members, go and get therapy or counselling. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Sometimes, like I say, you just have to embrace it. It doesn't matter. You are you, and that is part of you, and it's what makes you you. So you don't even have to fix or change the insecurity. You just have to sort of learn to live with it, embrace it, realise it's you. That's it. That's all I've got to say on this topic. This is kind of like podcast vibes, don't you think? Don't forget to subscribe. Please leave me a like, comment down below. Any sort of engagement is good. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in next week's video, which is going to be, hopefully, my Cyprus vlog, because I'm going to Cyprus tomorrow. So yeah, goodbye guys.